Hello my dear children, a very warm welcome to the class. Today I am going to start with the chapter that is the fundamental unit of life. So in this chapter we are going to discuss what a living organism made up of. Next we will discuss about what are cells made up of and what are the structural organization of a cell. Now what do you mean by cell? Cell is the basic structural and fundamental unit of life. All the living organism that includes the plants, animals, in fact we human beings, microorganism, everything are made up of cells. In the year 1665, Robert Hooke observed the cell in a thin slice of cork. Now what you mean by cork? Cork is the bark of a tree. He observed that cork in his self-designed microscope, and there he observed that those corks are resembling the structure of honeycomb, and from there it comes the cell. So cell is the Latin word which means the little room. Next, with the advancement of microscope, electron compound microscope, there comes the internal structure of the cells. In the year 1674, Leeuwenhoek observed the free living cells in pond water for the first time. So now it comes a question in your mind, now who discovered the cell? Because the Leeuwenhoek also discovered the cells, and next the Robert Hooke also discovered the cells. So now the question is, who discovered the cell? Cell was discovered by Robert Hooke, and if question comes who discovered the living cells, then your answer will be Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he observed the living cells in the pond water. Next come the Robert Brown in the year 1831, who discovered the nucleus in the cell. Next is Purkinje. Purkinje in the year 1839 coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell. And the next, the cell theory, which state that all the plants and animals are made up of cells and they are derived from pre-existing cells. That was given by two biologists, that is Schleiden in the year 1838 and Seven in the year 1839. This cell theory was further expanded by Rudolf Virchow in the year 1855, and he suggested that all cells are arise from pre-existing cells. And next, with the discovery of the electron microscope in the year 1940, it was possible to observe the complex structures which are present inside the cells. With the invention of magnifying lenses, it led to the discovery of the microscopic world. It was now known that a single cell can form a whole organism. You can take the example of amoeba is a single celled organism, that is called as the unicellular organism. And next, there is some other organism which is made up of many different types of cells, and those are called as the multicellular organism. You can take the example of plants, animals, and then we human beings. We all are multicellular organism. Now how does this multicellular organism form? They are formed by dividing a cell, which means a cell is dividing and it forms two cells, and then again those two cells are further dividing. So in this way there are multiple numbers of cells which forms an organism. Such type of organisms we call that as multicellular organism. Now these cells are of different structure and size. There are some tiny small cells and there are some large sized cells. You can see here, these are the various cells from the human body. You can see here, that is the smooth muscle cell, then blood cells, nerve cells, ovum, bone cell, sperm, and the fat cells. These are different types of cells which are found in the human body. Each of these cells perform different functions and they are having different structure. Now each living cell has the capacity to perform different functions. So how does a living cell performs different functions? We know that there is a division of labor in the multicellular organism. You can take the example of human beings. We human beings have different body parts and each of these parts perform different functions. Like take the example of heart. Heart pump the blood. Next, the stomach digests the food. And in similar ways, we have all other different body parts which perform different functions. In similar ways, the single-celled organism, which are called as the unicellular organisms, have also division of labor. Now, each cells have different spatial compartments in it, which are called as the cell organelles. These cell organelles are of different types and structure, and they perform different functions. Like for example, making of proteins, lipids, then clearing of the cell debris and so on. So, a cell is able to perform its function only when the cell organelles are performing well. So, these cell organelles are present in every living organisms, and it is found to have the same organelles in both the unicellular organisms and the multicellular organisms. Now, I will discuss about what is cell made up of and what is the structural organization of a cell. Now, what is this cell made up of? These cells, as I have told you, it has spatial compartments which are called as the organelles. So, these cell organelles are present in each and every cells. So, how these cells are organized? If you observe a cell under a microscope, we are going to see three features. Those three features are common across every cells. So, what are those features? That is the plasma membrane, next is the nucleus, and next is the cytoplasm. So, these three features are common to each and every cells. All the activities which are present inside the cells and its interaction of the cell with the external environment is possible due to these three features.